To shout jihad is to break the law. To support Hamas is against the law. Why aren't the police enforcing the law, particularly after Home Secretary Suella Braverman told them they better do it? They better be fair and balanced in the way they police these protests, because if they keep favouring the Palestine side, it will smack suspiciously of anti-Semitism. Let's talk to former Met Police Detective Chief Inspector Mike Neville. Hello, Mike.
Greetings, Kevin, from Formby in Merseyside today.
Of course. I'm not even going to go into why you're there. I always expect you to be somewhere different. But I don't know if you're in London at the weekend. I happen to be. I saw this massive Palestinian demonstration. Police smiling benignly on while mostly young men chanted about jihad and free Palestine. I suppose that's fair enough. From the river to the sea, that's not against the law. But jihad, that is against the law. Plus, there were people carrying what looked suspiciously like ISIS flags, Hamas supporters. The police, meanwhile, told 30,000 people who were going to gather in, first of all, outside the Israeli embassy, and then later on when they were moved on to Golders Green, very Jewish area of North London, the police told them, you can't have this demonstration because we've had threats and, it'd be incendiary. So the pro-Israeli demonstration, quite sizable, Pray for Israel, 30,000 people, that's shut down. The Palestinian one goes ahead and the coppers do nothing about people chanting jihad. Suella Braverman is seeing our friend Sir Mark Rowley, the Met Chief Police, today. I hope she's giving him a very stern talking to. Do you?
I certainly do, Kevin. And what amazes me is Mark Rowley has come out and said it's not his job to police taste and decency. I think it goes further than that. But what's amazing, isn't it? Of course, it's seemingly the police's job to deal with taste and decency when you've got people reading the Bible at a LGBT meeting or outside a tube station, when somebody sends a transphobic poem or something like that. The police seem to have no difficulties in policing taste and decency then. And the trouble is all the time, and I've said this before, is that too often what the public are seeing is that the police are not being impartial. When you become a police officer, whether you're a constable or the commissioner, you're supposed to act without fear or favour. And what we see all the time is if you belong to a cause which the liberal left favour, so that's Palestinians, Black Lives Matter, Extinction Rebellion, Just Stop Oil, then you get a sort of easy ride. You're allowed to do things. Or if you're at the Notting Hill Carnival. But if you're a Millwall supporter, an anti-vaxxer, a Christian preacher or something rather unfashionable, a Jewish march, for example, you don't get supported. So, if you can imagine on that march, there's an article in the Telegraph today about a man climbing up some scaffolding, letting off flares. The police officers just let him down and off on his way. Another guy climbing onto a bus with a flag, Palestinian flag, and all these other things. And if you imagine any, a Jewish march or a group of Millwall fans doing such things, they'd be swiftly dealt with, kettled in, given a smack with a truncheon and arrested. Mm-hmm. And I just think people see this, and public confidence in the policing is at an all-time low, and it just sends out the wrong message that the police are not on your side, and that's really bad. And I was proud to be a Scotland Yard detective, and I spoke to a colleague. I was at the memorial for 30 years since PC Pat Dunn was murdered on 30 years ago on Friday, and a colleague said to me, I'm embarrassed to say I'm in the Met Police or was in the Met Police, and it's just shameful. I feel really bad about that.
Yeah, there's some film of a couple of lads bedecked in the St George's flag of England, being talked to in no uncertain terms by the police. Don't you cause trouble, you wear that, you may be arrested, all that. Friend of mine, a Jewish lady, went down to the West End or to Marble Arch on Saturday to see what was going on. She was hoping to hook up with some pro-Israeli demonstrations, but there were none. She turned out to be a one-woman pro-Israeli demonstrator, and she's very passionate about her beliefs. She's a big supporter of Israel. She sort of shouted, go Israel or something, poor Israel. Coppers down there, you say that one more time and you'll be arrested. Meanwhile, all around them, people chanting jihad. That's against the law.
Absolutely, and what you have here is when the police can arrest somebody if they've got reasonable grounds. So you don't have to have absolute proof. But what they do here, we're employing somebody who's a language expert, and jihad can mean like an inner struggle.
Oh, rubbish!
If somebody walked down the road saying, you know, holy war against Palestine, support Israel, then they would be no doubt arrested. And all the time we see, like I say, the preacher who's reading out the Bible, quoting from the Bible, they'll be quickly arrested, they'll probably be put in the cell, and they're invariably released. Somebody silently praying outside an abortion clinic, they're arrested. There's no one there translating or thinking what they're saying. And it's all the time, as I've said, whether it's skateboarding with Extinction Rebellion or letting people climb up scaffolding and fire off flares, which is illegal. All these things are allowed to happen. And what you have is the entire police force has been captured by the Liberal bloc. Mm-hmm. So when I joined the Met, half of the senior officers were ex-army. No, none of them are ex-army. They're all ex-students. They recruit ex-students. And students are notoriously left-leaning. And this is what we have. We have ended up with a police force which isn't fair. It isn't fair and impartial to all sections of the community. It's really sad. It shouldn't be like this way in Britain. And they're in open defiance of the Home Secretary. It's wrong. The Home Secretary is the boss. Do as you're told.
Yeah, I would hope that Suella Braverman is saying to Mark Rowley, who says, oh, yeah, I'm the new broom, I will sort this out. He always keeps saying, I will sort this out, I will sort these problems out. Well, it's about time you started actually sorting them out, Mark, rather than promising to. And I hope that the Home Secretary is having a very serious word with him today, because it looks to me like, it's not the first time we've seen it. The police force represent Guardian readers. The establishment of this country are now Guardian reading BBC types, and the police represent them. If you're right-wing, if you're a patriot, if you don't like Palestine and you like Israel, the police are not there for you. Same with Black Lives Matter. Look at that when they stood by and let them deface the cenotaph, when they let them pull down that statue in Bristol and sat or kneeled there taking the knee while these people broke the law in front of them. Why do they let them do it? Because they're left-wing, and so are the police. This is what Mark Rowley and all the police chiefs have got to do something about, is the clear political bias towards the left of police officers in this country. It is a massive problem.
It is, exactly. And they'll talk diversity. And what they mean thereby is identity politics. We've got to recruit so many Asians, got to recruit so many lesbians, got to recruit so many this. And really the public don't care about, as long as the police officer's a good person who turns up to help them. What they do not have is diversity of thought. They all think the same, this groupthink. I saw, for example, that appointed to the top police management board in London is Lord Paddock, Brian Paddock. Oh, yeah. Another one of the same kind. So there's no one there who would represent mine and your views on that meeting. No one would represent them. They're all the same people. And like I say, these are in open defiance of the Home Secretary now. The Home Secretary is saying arrest thieves, arrest burglars. They're even ignoring that. I actually emailed Mark Rowley a week ago saying, look, I could really help you here. Only 29% of people caught on camera are identified. I could get it back to 60%. Ignored. Why would they do that? Get on with arresting criminals. It's shameful.
Yeah, well, I'd say Sir Mark Rowley's in the dock now. After this weekend, he's got some serious questions to answer. You can understand, I mean, I don't approve of it, but the BBC are always likely to support Palestine and hate Israel, which is exactly what they do. But they're just broadcasters. Very, very serious when the police start showing similar favouritism. It has to stop. Great to talk to you, Mike, as always. That's Mike Neville, former Met Police